Hi, good evening everybody. Welcome to Franchise Reborn. This is the video on the channel, if you're new here, that usually discusses and updates news within the organization. And today, guys, it's more of a rumor than news, okay? But I think it's a solid rumor. And we'll just get right into it, guys. Let's take a look at this clip. Here we go. Rasmus Dahlin rumored extension in Buffalo, 8 years. At an annual average of $10.5 million per after the whistle. Yes, I did listen to that podcast, and they did mention it's a very reliable source. So what does this mean? This means that, of course, it's going to be the biggest contract in Buffalo Sabres history, guys. That's what it means. It's it's if it happens. And I'll be honest, guys, I can live with 10.5. This is Rasmus Dahlin we're talking about. This is our superstar. This is the face of this franchise now. And this is our not just our face of our franchise. This is our Stanley Cup hopes we're talking about here. Okay, this is the superstar that can lead us to the promised land eventually. So we've got to sign him. We got to get him locked in. And I'm going to talk about a few things though, because I read some opposing fans online, and folks, you're always going to get that, so don't get discouraged. For those of you that get discouraged, let's take a look where this would compare, okay, in defensemen in the league. I clipped this out also because you're going to wonder, okay, where does that put him in defensemen? As you know, where, what department? Here is the clip. Okay, so you see Erik Karlsson, the highest paid defenseman in hockey at 11.5, Drew Doughty at 11, then would come in Rasmus Dahlin at 10.5, if this is legit and this happens. Then Werenski comes in at 9.583, I believe. It's a little blurry what I'm reading. Charles McAvoy at 9.5, Seth Jones at 9.5, Fox at 9.5, Darnell Nurse at 9.25, then you got Yossi at 9.59, I believe. It's a little blurry, but it's a little over 9, as you see. And then Makar and Hamilton at 9 apiece. So he'd be the third highest paid defenseman in the NHL. And folks, can we really argue that he's not worthy of that, really? You know, it's like, honestly, would you trade Dahlin for anybody on that list? Probably not, right? I wouldn't trade him. I would not, and I'll go on record again saying, I would not trade him for Cale Makar. No way. There's too much potential, Rasmus Dahlin, guys. There's too much. So I think we have to hope that this is true. I want to get this out of the way. It's one of those lingering things this summer. I hated it last time with Dahlin, guys, like 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, I should say. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. It's bugging me. I want this out of the way. Or was it 2 years ago when he signed that last contract? Because he's coming into year 3, right? Anyway, I'm just going to say 2 years ago. If he can get this signed and get it out of the way, then we're going to talk about Owen Power in another video, because there's signings still happening. Big signings are happening, and I think this would be perfect timing. You're going to see a lot of BS out there, though, guys, about this. Like, I was looking at some of the comments that were made on Twitter about this, and my goodness, I mean, you know, especially fans within our division, of course, you know. One last clip to talk about that. But there is, you're going to get that. You're just going to get that, guys. We're going to have to deal with that, and you're going to have to go to every every channel and see the negative comments if we sign him to this money. Here's the last clip. Okay, the meaning of envy, a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. He's our possession. Yes, he's one hell of a quality player, and we're lucky to have him. How many times have any of the players on this team said that? Guys, we got to remember, when we sign him to 10.5, if we do, I was the first one to advocate, don't go over 10. Don't go over 10, but 10.5, I can live with it. I don't want to count on that mentality, though, like so many fans do, that the cap is going up. That means nothing, okay? That means nothing. Because a lot of people say, yeah, but the cap's going, yeah, but it's going up for everybody, not just us, okay? I look at the amount of money we're spending within our organization on how many players, and how much cap space we have, and that's it. I don't care if it's going up, because if it goes up by, let's say, $4 million next year, well, Toronto has $4 million more in space. So does Boston, Montreal, Ottawa. You get what I'm saying? Florida, Tampa. Detroit. They'll all have $4 million more to add to their spending. So it doesn't matter if the cap's going up, because I like to know what we're doing with inside the current cap right now that's been kind of frozen, guys, since the pandemic. I'm kind of curious to see what Adams can accomplish with that number. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But hey, look, it's going to happen. We're going to get people. We're going to get jealous. Fans of opposing teams are going to get jealous. People are going to say, oh, you guys are stupid signing him to that kind of money. But meanwhile, you have people in Ottawa saying that, Jake Sanderson's a good contract for $8 million. Come on, come on. If we signed Owen Power to $8 million, which we'll compare. We'll talk about that in another video. But for the meantime, this is good news. It's just rumors, though, guys. I don't want to be one of those channels that I'm going to pretend to say I know this is going to happen, because I don't have a clue if this is going to happen. I just have learned over the years, where there's smoke, there's fire usually. And look, we heard right before July 1st, we're going to have all these contracts that are going to get done, and we're going to get Dahlin done July 1st, and here we are, guys, in September. So I don't want this to linger. I don't want to compare this to really any other contracts. I just really want to show you guys where it's at, because it is where it is now within the cap now. I'm not looking at this like, oh yeah, the cap's going to go up, so this is really a good signing. No. There comes a time where logic has to dictate too. Is the player worth the money or not? We're not paying him because he's not worth the money. That's the thing. What if Dahlin goes really crazy the next 3 years? And I'm talking, guys, really crazy. Becomes like a 100-point guy in the league on a regular basis. What if that happens? It could. The potential is there with this guy. We knew when we drafted him, we are getting the best blue liner. Apparently, they were all projecting since the 70s, since Denny Potvin had come into the league. So if that can happen, and this guy fulfills his prophecies, I guess you could say, that people put out about him, we are going to be one hell of a happy team, guys. Do we need him to win a Stanley Cup? That's really what I ask. When it comes to something like this, guys, do we need Rasmus Dahlin to win the Stanley Cup? And I think the answer is yes, we do. And if he was asking for like 12.5 or something, I'd say we have to move him. Everybody's movable. Everybody's tradable. We cannot be stupid with the money and win a Stanley Cup eventually. There has to be a bar that we say, okay, that's it. This would be the highest signing, of course, in our history. And this is years after the Jack Eichel contract. Let's keep that in mind. And the truth is, guys, I think he is, when it's all said and done, he's going to be every bit as good of a hockey player as Jack Eichel will have been in his career as well, this guy. So I think we're safe to say that we got to get him signed. Let's lock him in. 10.5, yes, I can live with it, and move on. We had a $10 million contract with Eichel I was living with many moons ago, right? So no reason I can't live with one more here. Let me know how you guys feel with that, guys. 10.5, are you good or not? I say yes, let's get it done. I don't want this to drag, because if he goes and explodes this year, has a 100-point season, this is looking like 12 million all of a sudden. We got to get him locked in now. All right, guys, done for this one. See you in the next one.